What is up, Internet Land? Zachamus Prime, aka Zachamus Prime, here with another Transformers third-party Legends review. And today we are going to review the last of our aerial bots. This is the Zeta Toys mini Catapault. And yeah, so many of the things that I've already discussed definitely apply here. It looks really good. They shrunk down the design. Yes, I sold my full-size set, or I would say masterpiece size set, to get this legend size set. I love legend size figures that much, and I love this set that much that I do not regret a single thing whatsoever. But yeah, much like these other figures, he does have die cast in him. He's got some die cast for the front panel here, shins, these little side panels in here, and a little bit on his waist. A lot of those. So these ones here for the shins and the chest, that's mostly for just to add some weight and heft to him. Not a whole lot. That's still a very light figure, but enough that, you know, it makes the whole combined figure just have a little bit more gravitas. This figure in particular, I actually have more issues with this figure than with any other figure of the set. And I'll get into those. Some of those I'll get into now, and some of them I'll get into as I'm getting into them. First and foremost, of all of the figures here, this one's got the worst paint. In that, come on, focus. There we go. I'm not sure it's really coming across very well here, but you can see it primarily in like these spaces down here and a little bit in there. This paint did not fully coat this figure. If I turn it sideways so that you can see this in line with the light, the whole bottom of that groove all is completely bare. And I'm not sure what the issue is. Why they didn't paint that metal properly all the way down. A little bit of a bummer. But, you know, it's hardly noticeable out at arm's length, and it's not at all noticeable when it's in combined mode because, you know, that this faces the inside of the shoulder. I do have major issues with this guy here. This is the only like really unforgivably loose part of this entire set, is I've got issues with this guy here. It just does not want to stay put anywhere I put it. I am going to see if I can get my hands on some of that schmutz and see about thickening up that peg properly. It should be a fairly easy task. I just have to, you know, unscrew some things and take this all apart. It is just a single screw that's on the end of that peg once I get into there, and that should work out. I don't know. I'll have to figure something out. Figuring out things is what I do. But it really bugs me. It really bugs me. But anyhow, yeah, so here is Catapault, or Slingshot as he's known to the G1ers. And he looks really good. He's got this, you know, airplane hanging on his back, but it's like no worse than it's supposed to be. Maybe you could say that his legs are a little bit kibbly because of the folded up wing, but, you know, again, I think that's completely appropriate and fine. So he's got the more cartoon looking face sculpt, and I always felt that he looked like a bald man. Maybe that made me identify with him better. I don't know. But this thing's bothering me constantly bothering me. In terms of accessories, he comes with two of these little double-barreled guns. These are not, of course, the same ones as any of the other ones. These ones, of all of the figures in the set, these ones plug into his hands with a freaking death grip. And I think the culprit is there's a tiny bit of mold flash on the seam of that handle. Or, I mean, I guess it's not mold flash because it's molded the mold line is going this way, so must be intentional. They like did something to scrape the mold to get some like extra interference out of that, and maybe worked a little bit too well. But his guns, he holds them just fine. They look flashy. He will, you know, move them around and shoot stuff twice with each trigger pull because he's got 2 barrels and therefore 2 guns. But let's get these removed somehow. Yeah. There's one, and I'm just going to pull this off and apply the force this way. There we go. Tab this back on to his arm. Let's get into Poseability. His head is on a ball joint. It will look down. It will look up all the way. It will go side to side a little bit and rotate just freely. A little bit of orange and blue paint apps on that. You got some black in the middle part here. Red for this chest section here. This lower waist is molded in red, so predominantly white plastic on pretty much everyone on him. A little bit of tampo printing. Maybe not tampo printing. Maybe this is masked off printing. I don't know. For the wings and the tail. Nice little translucent. Well, I guess it's a translucent clear. Anyhow, it's translucent clear, just like the clear paint for his head, or the clear plastic for his head. It's painted yellow, and then painted with this silver on top of that. So, swanky. Little double paint apps back there. Black plastic for his hands, and the nose cone, and his feet, and a couple other little fixtures on him. Most notably this section of the combiner joint in there. But yeah, all in all, it's pretty much exactly what you'd expect. I was in the middle of Poseability, and then I started talking about paint apps. I don't even know. Arm goes all the way around, comes out for the full tree pose, and then you can kind of manipulate this around to get a super tree pose. Bicep swivel just fine. Elbow bends for 90 degrees just fine. Wrist will go up and down a little bit and rotate on this little peg here. He does have a waist joint, which is completely unhindered, which is nice, I suppose. Of course, you don't need, like, you know, the like 360 waist specifically, but I don't know. You might use it. Maybe. The little skirt armor there, a leg will go all the way forward and all the way back if it does not bang into this airplane section, which it will basically bang into the airplane section. So, come out for the full Thor pose. Thigh swivel here. He also has a little bit of a rotation because of that ball joint that the hip is. What's happened with my skirt armor? It does not want to come down. That's weird. It went up and then slides back. I don't know if that's a feature or a flaw. Weird. Knee bends for 90 degrees. And the toe is on a ball joint, just like the last one that we looked at. It will bend down but not up and tilt just as much as you need. Transformation also is basically identical to the last one. Let me tilt this up just a little bit. In that, you're going to disconnect all of his airplane parts from back here. Going to take his head, rotate it around on this joint. Plug it in there. Fold in his hand, collapse his arm, and arm. lift this panel up. That will allow you to swing these sections in to collapse his arms down on top, and then plug this back into where it was before. The leg, again, you're going to do the same with the toe. Bring this around, rotate that. The leg will slide on this slider here. You can observe that screw to make sure that it goes all the way in. And then you're going to collapse the leg on this screw. You're going to collapse the leg on this slider here. And then do the same with the other leg. Toe, rotate all the way. Collapse this section here, which I just realized is probably one of my better options at getting at that screw without taking everything apart. Maybe I'll do that later. Collapse this in. Peg these together. You can take this wing and plug it into this little tab here. The front of the airplane is going to peg in up front, and the back of the airplane is going to peg in the back. No big surprise there. And at this point, you're just going to peg these halves together and peg them into the back here. And then make sure that everything is straight. By straight, of course, because this is a Harrier, that means that it's at this pronounced angle. And there he is in his jet mode, and it's a little bulky, but, you know, not like awful. Because this is a smaller, simplified design, he doesn't have these landing gears fold down like they're supposed to. He does have 3 landing gears molded into the bottom, so it will sit on his 3 landing gears. You can open up his cockpit like so. Of all of these figures, this is the only one with a semi-realistic, semi-proper cockpit section. Most of these have the entire cockpit section open up, which is only accurate, I think, on the F-16 of all the ones that I have. This one has the proper cockpit separation. So that's kind of cool. This right here is a refueling tube, which of course doesn't do anything on this one either. Also, as I recall, these vents moved on the Masterpiece one. They don't move here. I don't know. Little doodads like that. You can bump you. Take these guns and you can plug them in on the wings. And so he can fly around and shoot stuff as he goes. But all in all, that's pretty much where I stand with all this. It's a good figure. It looks decent in alt mode. It looks good in robot mode. And yeah, it's part of the best Legends combiner set I've had so far. Granted, I've only had 2 Legends combiner sets so far. But I really love this one. Probably because I really love the aerial bots to begin with. So anyhow, that's all I got. Tune in tomorrow for more review of this set, and I will see you then. Thank you for watching. You guys are fantastic. Everybody stay awesome and be good to each other. See ya. Bye.